Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. So, what I want to do is I want to go over my top 10 college football games for this weekend for week 6. So, let's get started. Obviously, the biggest game of the week is 4 Penn State versus 3 Iowa on Fox at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Um, there's a lot of stake for both teams here. Besides maybe Wisconsin, this is Iowa's only kind of big test before they get to the Big 12 title game. For Penn State, if they lose, they still have to face Ohio State and both Michigan schools. So it's going to be a tougher path for them. Um, so I expect this to be a little bit of a defensive battle since these are, two top 5 defenses. Um, I think this is not actually come down to the quarterback or the offense. But I really think it comes down to which defenses create more havoc. And I think that would be Iowa, especially at home. So I'm going to take them to win a close game here and a lower scoring game too, 13-19. You got you get 6 Oklahoma versus 21 Texas on the ABC. So no matter who's better, this rivalry usually delivers, on games being fun and all that. Now remember how I said that Oklahoma can't keep on getting lucky? Well, this is where I think their luck will run out, actually. Now, since Texas has a bad defense, Oklahoma should be able to score, but I don't think Oklahoma can stop Texas on offense, which would lead to a shootout. I think it comes down to whoever has the ball last, and I'm just going to predict that Texas will have the ball last, and therefore they'll be able to make the plays necessary. So, I definitely could be wrong, but I think Texas will get the upset in Dallas. I have Texas winning 38-35. 3, you got 13 Arkansas versus 17 Ole Miss. This kind of feels like, a consolation game for third place, if you're in that type of, bracket format. But I think the winner of this game is clearly the second best team in the SEC West and probably the third best team in the SEC overall. So lots at stake for both teams here. Um, I think both teams will score this time, but I think after Lane Kiffin specifically called such a bad game against Bama, I think he'll redeem himself in front of the home crowd here, and quarterback Matt Corral will get back into the Heisman discussion after getting a hard-fought win against a good Razorbacks team. So I have them winning 28-24. 4, you got 2 Georgia versus 18 Auburn. I know it's two 25 teams going out of here, and it's at Auburn, but Georgia should destroy Auburn here. Um, well, while Auburn can, slow down Georgia offensively, I just feel like Auburn is going to get nothing against Georgia's defense. So I have Georgia winning 30-6. 5, you got 1 Alabama versus Texas A&M. 8 p.m. CBS. I know it's at A&M, but after seeing the Aggies the past 2 weeks, they're just a mediocre team at best, and their best chance was last year to beat Bama, but this year they're going to get blown out. Alabama wins easily here, 45-10. 6, you got LSU versus 16 Kentucky, 7:30 SC Network. Kentucky got the upset against Florida, and now have a chance to kind of back that up with one against at least a mediocre LSU team. I think once again their defense will save them again if stops, where as long as Kentucky continues to run the ball like they do, they should be able to win this game. I have them winning barely, 16-13. 7, you got 14 Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech, 7:30 AC Network. This is a very good potential upset alert here. Notre Dame's starting quarterback Jack Cohn proved he was not healthy last week and he had to be pulled. The backup was okay, but a drop off was definitely noticed. And since this is a road game, and Virginia Tech, has a very good defense, if Cohn can't go, then I can see Virginia Tech getting the upset here. However, after an embarrassing home loss, I think Brian Kelly will switch some things up to make sure they don't get embarrassed again. So I have Notre Dame squeaking by 21-16. 8, you got Utah versus USC, 8 p.m. Fox. A lot of people thought both teams here would have either just one loss or be undefeated coming to this game because they thought these were the 2 best teams in the Pac-12 South, but so far that has not been the case. I'm going to go as far as who I'm going to pick to win this game. I think a lot of emotions are running high for Utah since their player was sadly murdered. I feel like they're going to, kind of feed off that play for him and all that, and then plus Whittingham's a better coach than whatever assistant USC is using right now. Plus USC for some reason has been second at home, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Utah here for the upset and then win 27-24. Now you got TCU versus Texas Tech, 7 p.m. ESPN. After Tech got destroyed by Texas, I thought there was no way they would get at least 500. But after Saturday's upset on the road at West Virginia, I think they might be able to be just fine with their backup. Mordecai, has a few games of experience last year. TCU has suffered 2 close home losses in a row, so I think Kerry Patterson will kind of make sure that his team does not lose a third in a row and kind of have their season derailed. So I have been going to Lubbock and getting a win, a high-scoring affair. Remember, for both teams here, we can expect the unexpected. So I have TCU winning 41-38. Last but not least, 10. You got Stanford versus 22, Arizona State. And this one's a Friday night game, 10:30 p.m. ESPN. Arizona State showed that they may be the new favorites in the Pac-12 South after what happened this weekend, or even maybe new favorites in the Pac-12 general. Who knows? But also we saw with Stanford won't be an easy out from here on out. Whether they win or lose, they'll make it good and competitive. I think it'll be a close game in the first half, but then I think the emotional toll that Stanford had to implemented comeback in that game last week kind of come into effect now, and they'll kind of get too wiped out and all that. So I think Arizona State will kind of eventually get the win here. I had them winning 34-20. So now it's time to go over my NFL Week 5 picks. I'll start with tonight's Thursday night football game and Rams 3-1 over Seahawks 2-2. Rams are favored by 2.5. This one's a very hard game for me to predict because again, that Thursday night, road teams typically don't win on Thursday night, and plus Seattle's a good home field, venue there. So typically it's hard for me to go the road team, but I'm gonna actually go the road team here once again, mainly because since the Rams got so embarrassed last week, that Sean McVay is gonna have them ready to come out and not be embarrassed this week. But then also Seahawks defense still sucks. So I have Rams. So Rams offense should be just fine. So I have Rams winning 34-27. See, Sunday you got a Sunday morning game this time because you got the Jets in Atlanta and London. Atlanta's fair by 3. But in this game, I feel like this could actually be a game for the Jets to get some momentum and kind of win again because Atlanta's defense is not good at all. And then on offense, we've seen the Jets' defense, special defensive line, be able to create havoc. And since Atlanta doesn't have a good line and Matt Ryan's just a pocket passer, I feel like you can be able to make him uncomfortable and therefore be able to affect that offense. So I have a close game, but I have Jets winning 24-21 the upset. New Orleans versus Washington football team. I feel like this is a game that could go either way here. I mean, the line with New Orleans favorite 2 is kind of correct because it could go anyway. It should be close. But I'm going to have New Orleans kind of redeem themselves after that horrible loss to the Giants last week. Barely, so I have them winning 31-28. Green Bay versus Cincinnati. Now this one, again, was a hard one for me to predict because I'm not sure which Cincinnati team I'm getting. Am I getting the team that, destroyed, basically destroyed Pittsburgh and destroyed Minnesota for most of the game, or am I going to get a team that had to come back against Jacksonville? So I'm not sure what I'm getting there. So I'm going to take Green Bay here, but I have Green Bay winning 28-21. Detroit versus Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 9. For this one, I'm clearly going to take Minnesota here. They're clearly the better team than Detroit. I was wrong about the Detroit upset last week, so I'm not going to go with them right now. I have Minnesota winning 28-20. Denver versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh favored by 1. Now this game's interesting because Teddy Bridgewater hasn't been ruled out yet with the concussion, but assuming if he can't play, I just don't think Locke could get it done for Denver against Pittsburgh's defense because Locke is prone to turn the ball over. So I feel like while Pittsburgh's offense and me making the Denver defense should stop Big Ben, I feel like Pittsburgh defense should cause more havoc. So I have them winning barely at home 16-13 in lower scoring game. Miami versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's favored by 10, the highest favor of the week. I'm going to go ahead and have Tampa Bay win actually by exactly 10 because while I feel like Miami's defense can contain it to some degree, obviously on offense, they won't be able to do much with Brissett. So I have Tampa Bay winning 24-14. Philadelphia versus Carolina. Carolina's favored by only 3.5, which I don't understand at all because they should dominate Philadelphia easily and have them dominate Philadelphia. They're a good defense, so they could be able to contain Jalen Hurts in that offense. And as we see, Philadelphia's defense is horrible, so I have Carolina winning easily here, 34-10. Tennessee versus Jacksonville. Tennessee's favored by 4.5. I feel like with all the, I if you if there was no off the field drama or mind all that, I actually might take Jacksonville to get the upset here. But because of all that going on, I just feel like the players are kind of done with him at this point secretly. So I have Tennessee winning this one by 2 possessions, 30-16. New England versus Houston. New England's favored by 9, and I feel like this game will be one of those blowout games. As long as Mills is starting for Houston, I don't feel comfortable Houston doing well at all, especially since we know Belichick feasts upon rookie quarterbacks. So I have New England winning 35-3. Chicago versus Vegas. Vegas favored by 5.5. Now this one's actually a very hard one for me to predict here. I feel like the line actually might be a little bit too high here if I'm Vegas, because I know Vegas is better at home, but Chicago's defense is good. Vegas, as we saw, Vegas online against the Chargers. I mean, they're not that great, and also Vegas has secondary issues, which Justin Fields, who knows, might be able to exploit. I'm gonna go ahead and have Vegas win here, but they're gonna just survive. I have them winning 23-20. Cleveland versus LA Chargers. Chargers favored by 1 at home. Again, this game's the hardest one for me to predict out of all the games this weekend. It was super hard for me to predict this one because I can see it go either way. I feel like it's going to be actually a lower scoring game. I know both offenses can put up points and both offenses are good, but I have this being more of a defensive type of game. I feel like in the end, I feel like Cleveland is just the better overall team as of right this moment. Well, actually, no. Sorry, I feel like the Chargers are a better team at this moment, but I feel like when you're projecting towards the end of the season and all that, I feel like Cleveland kind of needs this win in order to propel them to get a playoff spot and all that. So I'm going to take Cleveland to actually get the upset here by 2, 22-20. San Francisco versus Arizona. Arizona's favored by 5.5. I feel like that's correct. Whether it's Jimmy G starting or Trey Lance starting, I feel like Arizona will win this game. Because San Francisco's defense, as they've shown against good teams, can't get enough stops. And then plus, we don't know what we're getting on offense for them. So I have Arizona winning 31-17. New York Giants versus Dallas. Dallas favored by 7. I have Dallas. I have this being a close game in the first half because it's a divisional rivalry. That's how it typically goes. But then I have Dallas exploding in the second half. I have them winning 34-17 against a bad Giants team. And then for Sunday Night Football, you got Buffalo versus Kansas City. Kansas City surprisingly favored by 2.5. I know Buffalo's been looking good the past couple games, but remember, they beat a bad Houston team. They beat a bad Miami team with Jacoby Brissett as quarterback. But then they also beat a mediocre Washington. So they haven't really got any good wins here. Plus, they have a bad loss against Pittsburgh. So therefore, they're kind of like how Denver was a soft 3-0 last week going to Baltimore. Buffalo's a soft 3-1 going to Kansas City here. Now, Buffalo should be able to score because Kansas City's defense is that bad. But I feel like at home, Kansas City can then outscore just enough to get the win here. So I have them winning 35-34. And then for a Monday Night Football game, we got Indianapolis versus Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by 7. This game, Baltimore actually should win easily because their defense has improved over the past couple weeks. But then also, I feel like Colts, defense won't be able to stop Baltimore's running game. And they won't be able to keep up on offense with Wentz being the way he is and all the injuries going on with the Colts. I have Baltimore winning at home easily 28-10. So those are my NFL predictions for this upcoming week. And by the way, my 3 Vegas lines that I disagree with, going back to college football real quick. So 1 and 2 is both Georgia's favored by 14.5 against Auburn, and then Bama's favored by 17.5 against A&M. I think both those teams get blowouts, so I feel like those are kind of too low in all honesty. So I feel like I'd go over there. But then the third team is Michigan. 9 Michigan is only favored by 3.5 at Nebraska. I know Nebraska has competed against Oklahoma and Michigan State on the road, so the odds makers are respecting them, especially being at home. But I feel like this Michigan team is different from the old ones, and they don't play down to their opponents. We saw that last week against Wisconsin. So I feel like Michigan should win this one by double digits to go ahead and definitely take the over there. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel, tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.